Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Suman Rahim here, Messenger Covenant. Break us 7 seals. I have a special presentation for you, brothers and sisters, a follow-up of yesterday. I had some technical problems yesterday, some issues. I still haven't figured out exactly what's causing them, but I think I'm okay today. So, let's see here. So hopefully we'll be okay. Because we're going to talk about the war. The war started. I've been talking about this war for 35 years, brothers and sisters. So here now. The apocalypse. Apocalypse is the global war. Armageddon is just a European war. But we see, Sunday, the broadcast, what was that, the 15th of June? To be frank, brothers and sisters, to be straight, it's bullshit. They don't really talking about, like I said, since FARRAKHAN incapacitated, his handlers are talking directly to Ishmael and those guys. They were confused because they write the script for them. I told you he had a regime change. FARRAKHAN's work for them, and we can prove it. But see, we don't have to convince you. We're not trying to convince you. Only people that's going to hear this, is people that's seeking the truth. Those are the only ones. The rest are not going to hear this. So we're not looking for them. See, because it used to be a song called "I'm In With the In Crowd," but they just follow the crowd goes, just like Limits. Limits. One go off the cliff, it'd be millions of them. We see one go off, all the rest of them follow off the cliff with them, all fall their death. I think I'm pretty sure it right, the limits. That's what it is. And they get the wrong eyes, they say, come to save everybody. I'm not coming to save anybody. I'm coming to just give you information to save yourself. And only the ones that are seeking it will take advantage of it. Anybody else, we don't care. I talk about purging and culling. I talk about these things. Nobody pays attention to them, so that's their problem. But there's a couple of things. Just a short recap. It says that they were teaching philosophy because if religion is just philosophy, that's what religion is. Religion. If you have mathematics, you don't need religion. If the universe is mathematics, and you have mathematics, you don't need religion. Because mathematics tell you everything you need to know about the universe. Religion is just attempting to tell you what's going on with the universe based on their idea. And in fact, Christianity has no math in it whatsoever. Christianity gives you no idea how the universe works. None, zero. That's why Christians was the last ones to figure out the world was around. Because nothing in the scriptures and nothing in Christianity that gives you any idea how the universe works. That shows it's incompetent. I mean, it's worthless. But they don't understand these things. So religion is something that we descended into as we moved into a zone of energy deprivation. And the deeper we got into it, the worse religion became. For us, Christianity was just a form of hope. They tell you in Exodus, you need to understand Daniel to understand that Christianity was actually given to us because we have a vision. See, I heard someone say, they just get stuff messed up, right? And that we didn't lose our vision. We didn't have it or something. Well, vision is something that you have or you don't. You have it or you don't. I forgot how they said it, but it's all messed up, right? So we didn't lose our vision. But we didn't have a vision. Vision is something you either see or you don't. Okay? So we didn't have a vision. All that was taken away from us. So all we had was hope. Hope is lost. Whenever when all is gone, the only thing that you have left is just hope. Just hope. If you have that, if you don't have hope, then you're dead. Okay? So Christianity just gave us hope. It didn't give us any practical, substantial. Jesus never came and helped us. Just hope. Hope that one day, we're gonna come out of this. And the hope was enough to have us survive, along with the efforts and sacrifice of our women. Hope. But see, I'm trying to pull these things together for you, bro. I know it's too complicated for most of you. I guess all of you. I'm trying to put all this whole thing together, how it all fits together, and the scriptures, unsealed scriptures, explain all that. Because you say, well, why did Moses put a brass serpent on a stick up there? Well, if you understand Daniel, that's the cross. So why would he do that? Say, well, because why would Moses do that? Why would he? Because that's all you had was hope. Every day you was bitten by the serpents that was attacking you constantly. And so if you look at that, you had hope. And then Elijah Muhammad came and restored your vision. And vision is a unifying force. And if you understand the scriptures again, see, what I'm saying makes no sense to you whatsoever unless you have some understanding of scripture. And I've been telling you scripture for 35 years. But without that, I got to keep on and breaking everything down for all the time. I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of time. Because first of all, if I got to do that, he's probably not interested anyway. We're going to keep referring back to, this scripture, referring to that scripture, whatever. So the thing is that let me put it another way. See, well, I don't want to spend a lot of time. I'm going to get to the main point, brothers and sisters. But the bottom line here is, that we had vision, right? We had hope. A vision was restored, the Abrahamic covenant. And what happens is that they had to take, and I said, it's a unifying force, vision. And so they had to nullify that vision because they do not want us to be unified. That's scriptures tell us. And the big thing, one of the problems you have with scripture is because you can't identify yourself in the scripture. They identified you as being Ham. And when you understand scripture, that's actually, right, how you're supposed to be identified, because that connects you back to Abraham. Abram, Ham. That shows you the loss. It's beautiful. That's what I said. No one's appreciate the beauty of these scriptures, how they put this thing together. Because the people called Ham would be the seed of Abraham. Because that's why in that particular covenant, they say no place else, they say his name Abe. Why they miss the Ham part? Okay? And nobody, because the people call Ham is the true seed. And all this information is so powerful. No revelation has been as clear and positive as this ever in the past. And it's atomic bombs. And it's like, you got an army, and you got machine guns and grenades and everything else, and they walk around with pea shooters. So what you got? You got a gun? Why do people go, oh man, it's pea shooters, all I know how to use. That's best. You see what I'm saying? It's sad. Still, it's powerful. No one knows how powerful injured is. I know how powerful it is. They have no idea. Right? It says truth knocks out falsehood. This is slaying demons. It's hurting people. The words. You don't see it. But it is. It's got the whole world upside down right now. They may not understand where it's coming from. They don't understand where the wind's coming from. They know it's affecting them. So, they said false Israel to terminate their vision. The whole scripture tells you that they had to stop you from being united. So it was a false Israel that terminate that vision that Elijah Muhammad restored, that was taken away from you. Right. And then they said they needed a regime change. They said all this stuff is deep, bro. I said, we don't make up anything. We have the facts and proofs. That's why I don't waste time arguing with anybody. People call me, well, I said, I hang up. I don't need to argue with you. Why do I need to argue with you? You know, when people argue, you know, at least one of them don't know what they're talking about. And somebody come and tell you, say my name is Abdul. And someone come and argue about my name. Why would I argue with them? I know my name is Abdul, so why would I argue? I mean, that means I'm not sure my name's Abdul then. What's the point of arguing? So if you got the truth, you don't need to argue. I never saw Elijah Muhammad arguing about anything. See, when you argue, that means both of you don't know. Neither one of you know the truth. So you're arguing, trying to, you know. But this, and then they had a regime change. They did have a regime change. They said the alternative was either get some else to get a regime change, get some else that they can control, to turn this whole thing around like they wanted, or to destroy it. Well, it's still here. So that means FARRAKHAN is their regime change. I mean, it's clear. Everything about him says that. You know, once this truth hit, there's no way in the world he could have withstood the first blow. He shouldn't have withstood it. He should have been gone 35 years ago. So why is he still there? And the people that supporting him and everything, why? Because they're like, every time they have a regime change, they got to build a whole infrastructure. Well, not infrastructure, but a whole, what would I call it? Well, I say infrastructure, human hip infrastructure. Right? To support you. Otherwise, you got a regime change, everybody hates you, they're going to kill you. So you got to build a support system, that's what, a support system. So most people around are agents. Protect him, and a lot of people out there just being paid to come in to make it look like he's popular and everything else. That's what it's all about over there. And you're going to find out for a fact that's what it's all about. You're going to find out in a few more days that FARRAKHAN was an agent of them. He was their agent. He's not teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings. There's no way I have over $1,000 to anyone if you don't step up and take it. So why you don't step up and take it? Why don't you step up and take it and get $1,000? I get $1,000. Anyone that can show me that he's faithful to Elijah Muhammad's teachings and faithful to the Master Muhammad's lessons. I bet it's just public. No one's ever stood up and take it. So that shows you something right there. Because that's that, man. If he's doing that, that's easy $1,000. Not only that, but if I don't pay up, you can just serve everybody. I would just allow me public before everybody. I know you'd like me to shut up because it's hurting you. Okay? So that's the situation, right? So he's right. So he had to take and come in and neutralize, since it wasn't effective by putting this false Israel up there. Right, that false vision, to neutralize the vision Elijah Muhammad gave us, and that was sufficient because when that Master Elijah Muhammad departed, right, there was still that vision lingering around. They couldn't afford that, so he said FARRAKHAN is destroyed, and he destroyed it. He says he tells you the vision is worthless. You're sinful. You're not going anywhere. That's the vision. The vision says we reward for what we did. How you reward somebody for being sinful, unless you're Satan? We're not sinful. But that's no story together, brothers and sisters. But the thing is, let's look a couple things about what happened. See, Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. But you don't get any mathematics in Sunnism. None. Zero. Zero mathematics. Why? Because they are a derivative of Islam. It was there just to keep the flame of Islam going. The knowledge of it. And the Quran keeps talking about, place where Allah is remembered. You ever notice they said? Mosque, a place, why you got to be remembered? If he's everywhere and everything else, a place where Allah is remembered. Why? Why remember? Because we forgot it, because we're in a derivative world. People don't pay attention to these little words. And that's what Sunnism is, a remembrance of Islam. Just remembrance. It's the structure without the substance. And we're going to build the substance back into it again. It's like a balloon that's went flat. Then you pump air back in so it spins up again. Okay? But you say flat, it's a balloon, but there's no air in it. And that's what Sunnism is. At any rate, that says no mathematics. So they say stupid stuff like this. Well, God gave free will. First of all, the Quran disputes that, and I dispute it 100%. Because if you have free will, that's actually chaotic. If you have free will, that means nobody can determine what you're going to do. That's what it says, free will. That means you can do anything, nobody can determine what you're going to do. But for prophecy to be written and to be correct, perfectly correct, they have to know exactly what you're going to do. Every individual, right? Sperm count, everything, over from 24,000 years in the future, according to what they say. If you did something that unexpected, it would throw everything off. So that's right there. If free will, prophecy be impossible. Secondly, another way, they say nothing happens without Allah's will. Nothing happens without Allah's will. Well, if you got free will, then that's outside Allah's will, because He's not determined what you think. He has no determination of what you see. How this shit just falls apart. But see, they say it because the devil writes the script for them. Now, the devil, they don't know. They don't make it. They say what they need to say to keep you down in a derivative dimension, derivative reality. See, to keep you there. They're not keep you, not push you down, because they have to be able to push you down. They're just trying to keep you in the reality they're in, so they keep control of you. But it's like that balloon. Put air in, all of a sudden it moves up, and anybody in that floor, they can't, what happened to that balloon, man? I don't see them anymore, because they can't look up. And so they lose control of this world right now. That's why they're desperate. Because all the three-dimensional people, right, all the nations, original people, have three-dimensional attributes. And so as they be energized, those attributes are starting to develop. When they develop, that means they're no longer in the second dimension. Because they develop, they move in, and so, and they start losing control. You're still anchored in the second dimension, right? But now you got three-dimensional qualities, and so they can't control you. What are you doing? They can't figure out what you're doing. And you may not realize it at first. And then you may get a glimpse. What did the Christ say? He said, those who get a glimpse or the hereafter don't understand it, he said a visible flame follows them up. You ever read that? That means they get a glimpse of third dimension, but they don't understand what the hell is going on. And they run right back to second dimension. Allah will lift you up, but you cling to the earth. Because it takes energy to move up, to climb up. He said, man, I don't want to use my energy like that. I want to keep my car here. I want to keep that house there. I want to keep that apartment here. I want to keep that female or male, two-dimensional, that double male, two-dimensional female or whatever you got. And you want to hold on to that. So they said, those who love this world's life, that's why they say those things. And I try to make you understand it. Right, because I never talked to you before this month about the derivative. Because I said I couldn't talk to you about that because I probably still can't talk to you about it because you could understand multiplication and division. But once you look at it that way, you see it even clear. Even clear. Because like I'm talking in terms of grafting and stuff. But the Bible tells you they had a form of us without the substance. That means they're two-dimensional, three-dimensional. It says that they actually talk in terms of calculus, derivatives, but you don't understand that away. Force is all about, so anyway, they say dumb stuff like that. None happens without Allah's permission. Everything is Allah's will, then that means you have no free will. And then it goes further. If everything happens, none happens without Allah's will, then why is so much wickedness in the world? Oh, you see what I'm saying? He can't do anything bad, he can't do anything evil. Well, then the wickedness you see in the world must be good. Right? But we tell you that. Right? Adam would make men shed blood, and God backed him. And he stepped on Iblis from not wanting to obey that. Not wanting to obey somebody make men shed blood. He said, that don't make sense. They don't talk about that one. Because they don't understand the mathematics. The only way you can understand the mathematics of it is, the only way you can understand, you have to understand the mathematics of it. So that's what Mr. Come will come and teach the mathematics. Then you got to understand these things, because without the mathematics, you can't understand that. You can't understand. You come on, somebody say, well, that must be Yaqub then. Well, angels obeying Yaqub? They say, well, Iblis is Satan. No, he's not. Can't make sense of it. Oh, with Adam's whole unit family. Well, if that's the case, how come only Europeans have run the world? There's only been two. Gog, right? Two world empires. America and Britain. I mean, there must be Gog and Magog. So when you get the mathematics of this stuff just falling into place. But they don't know what it means, and they talk, and the thing is, it's because the two-dimensional plane is the emotional plane. So what happens is, if you say other than what they want you to say, they get angry. That's the emotion. They want to kill you, cut your head off. Oh, you get your head cut off in Saudi Arabia, you don't. You come up with something different than what they're saying. That's why there's sex over there fighting with each other. The Sunni and Shia, they're both Muslim, but they're gray. Why would they be fighting each other? And the reason they can't even follow their own scripture, because they say, don't take Christian Jews as friends, but they'll take Christian Jews as friends over a fellow Muslim. And nobody says anything about it. And they say, well, America is hypocritical. They say, well, hell, aren't you? Oh, I'm not as hypocritical as they are. They eat shit. I don't eat as much shit they eat, but I eat, you eat shit, don't you? But not as much as they do. Really? That works? All the nations are under Satan's control. Satan said, they tell you Satan's God's world. So how did he be God of the world? The nation wasn't submission to him. Everybody's against Satan, but he's the God of the world. So what kind of God is he can't control the world? They tell you he's in control. Satan's in control right now. And he says he's in control of all the nations. Only one he couldn't control was the Son of Man. Ooh, what does that mean? Is that why he walks alone? That's why nobody can understand this, because he's still under Satan's authority. Because if you're two-dimensional, you're still under Satan's authority. That's problem is not because, right? I told you he's a derivative of God. If you don't have the angel, you still under Satan's authority. You're still in two-dimensional. If you can't see a three-dimensional, you're still two-dimensional. You're under Satan's world is a two-dimensional world. So you're still there. God will lift you up out of it, but you cling to the earth. You cling to Satan. You don't want to hear that. I don't care if you hear it or not. I'm here to tell you the facts. And when if you make it hereafter, that's all you're going to hear is that kind of talk. The mathematics, the facts of it. Not your emotional stuff that you want to deal with. Because that's what you want to hear, emotional stuff. Oh, everything will be all right. Amen. You just dancing to heaven, all that stuff, and all the emotional crap don't mean anything. It's mathematics. Mathematics is the only thing gonna save your ass. So I can go on and on about that, but let me move on, bro. Sister, I got a lot to
Do
talk
you then
about.
believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such?
Uh-oh. Okay. Technical problems, brothers and sisters. Hold on.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
These clowns here, boy, they got evil days coming ahead. Oh, their time has run out. Their time's run out. Once the war started, there's a countdown. Countdown. We're talking about days, the maximum. They won't get past this year. Countdown. Them, they're either demons, agents, turn whatever. But it says the most grievous, most. That means what's right? Most that means unprecedented. More than any. I tell you, this is extreme times. That's what unprecedented means, extreme. And a chastisement will be extreme. The people will be extreme. Right? Because you're dealing with people who went through extreme hell. That means all that stuff been stored up inside of them. It says the day of the wrath has come. That means that was stored up. So who can we be able to stand? And it says tell the people, do unto them double. They ain't them. Do unto them, where is it? Wrath is mine, saith the Lord. Well, if he say wrath is mine, saith the Lord, and then he tells people, do double to them as they did to you, they must be the Lord. Because you can't put two and two together. And said the chastisement would be wrath. It ain't talking about anger, it says wrath. And the wrath of God. How much wrath is it? Go back and look how much what you went through. You can tell how much wrath it is if you can have any idea how the Holocaust went. Because that's all built up in you. We're told to submit. When you submit to somebody beating your ass, that means you just don't retaliate right now. But you understand consequence? Consequences are changing the quality of it. What's the consequence? Consequences is emotion. Consequences and that the most the concept. I mean the quality of it, right? Is emotional. I told you we're the personification of the consequence. They did to us. They tell us to do back then, and they done to us. So we're stored up. They said Smith. That means stored up. You can't escape consequence. So if you submit, that don't mean you just the consequence dissipate. It means you store it up and hold it in. See? And so you held in, but when you hold stuff up, right, you get interest, right? So they're gonna give payment with interest. Interest payment, double. All they did to us is gonna come back on them. That's one of the reasons why they're doing everything they can to stop us from rising. Because they're at war with consequence. They're at war with consequence. That's what they're at war with right now. And we're the personification of it. But they're at war with the whole world is at war with consequence right now. The people in Gaza, they're at war with consequence. They're going through all that. Yeah, okay, you might feel sorry for them, but the point is, where they living at? Where's God's Jerusalem? That's city of David. That's an area we used to live at. How did we get here? It says that's where we was at when they threw us in, when they betrayed us into Egypt. Think about that. Look at the story. See, you got to pay attention to those stories, right? Okay. Jerusalem, remember, those are the people who betrayed into Egypt. That means they had to be right next to Egypt. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Those are the people that betrayed us. And then they moved out and took our land in North Africa, Egypt, Sudan, or what's the other one? Tunisia? Is it? I forget the names of them, right? The Arabs. So now they're getting started to get. They ain't going to get a lot more. They get a taste of what they did to us. Consequence. You can't stop consequence. So man, if you understand mathematics, look around the world. Because right now, from an emotional point, oh, if you want to get emotional about it, so oh, what's happening now? See, because you're on an emotional level, you're on a mental, mathematical level. You say, oh no, okay, that's consequence. They're going through, and the whole world's going through consequence. The whole world is going through consequence of what they did to us. All nations, that's it, all nations had a part in it. All nations. Something here. Ooh, what's going on with this? All nations had a part in it. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there you go. Okay, let me do this. And that's why the wrath has come, because now all the nations got to pay for what they did. All the nations. The consequence, if they did well, then, right? If they did well, then they would get a good reward. You can't destroy consequence, brothers and sisters. It's impossible. Every action has opposite equal action. Come on, brothers and sisters. I'll be here all day, right? We're going to talk about the timeline. Before I get there, let me talk about a couple of other things, brothers and sisters. See here. Now I went back, and if you go back and watch so-called Savior's Days, what, 2023 was it? Farrakhan's last hurrah, whatever. When Armageddon had started, I got a little clip on that. You seen the Armageddon? And after that, oh, God told him to shut up, and now hell is breaking loose. I said then, right? I'm not going to keep saying I got the proof, because I don't need to. I mean, for those that are seeking, they can go and check. The rest of you, why don't you just change the dial? Go back and watch it, or whatever you're doing. No, we're not concerned with you. You ain't concerned with yourself, so we're not concerned with you. So the thing is that the trick is, see, Farrakhan claimed, he says, oh, I'm speaking Elijah's words. That's why they mention him and Elijah together all the time. He's not speaking Elijah's words. Not even close. I give $1,000 to anybody who can prove he's speaking Elijah's words. None of that stuff is Elijah's words. He totally against Elijah's message. He loved devils. He got devils in his family. So does Ishmael. And who else? Who knows what? They actually have devils in the NOI there. His NOI. Those devils there. They was there with Wallace let them in. Because I told you I was a foreman of Palm Springs newspaper, right? And it was a few weeks before they actually tore that down. Before they tore it down, next time I look around, they had a couple of devils, female devils. They come with the miniskirt and everything. They ain't even come in, even trying to look like a Muslim. They come in, and that wasn't, Mrs. had that. They come in, they was working at the press, they was working down in the, not where you actually print the papers. I was a foreman, printing house newspaper, but where they went and print books and photocopying that kind of stuff. I didn't get into that. And this one, she was tacky. I never could understand this, boy. I could never understand this. This woman, she was tacky, right? She was funky too. And these Levites, they blow you away. Now these FOI, they had their tongue all up in their ass. They was all over her. They was all over her. I'm looking, I'm saying, what the hell? They was all over her. I'm pretty sure one of them married her or something. They was all over her. And I see all the time. I see these male, and if they got a devil, she's tacky as hell and funky. Sometimes older. They don't care as long as she white. That's all they care about. Whoa. But some of them are demons, but they was all over that woman. These are FOI, who 5 minutes ago was calling them devils. All praise be to Allah, but Elijah Muhammad, boom, 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 man. It was like, oh man, I died for him out. And he wasn't even going for a second. And this was happening. And they got devils in there. They got this one guy, he says he's called Mexican. He's a devil. They got FY suit and FY suit and everything. They also females. Farrakhan already said he would bring them in. He said it ain't about religion, it ain't about skin color. Well, it ain't about skin color. That's another game to play. But see, what's doing the trick they got here is, remember, they ain't smart to write this stuff up. Farrakhan ain't that smart either. Their handlers tell them to do this. So what he do is, he's using Elijah Muhammad as a dummy. And the only reason they have all the way with this because, I'm going to explain to you in a minute. So what he have is he telling you that this is what Elijah's saying. See? But it's actually coming from him. See? And so you say, oh, that's what Elijah's saying. We're not going nowhere. He said devils ain't called devils no more. See? Those not Elijah's words, that's his words. So then when he repeat them, see, I'm just saying what Elijah said. Do you get it? He's using Elijah as a dummy. Because the dummy just says what the ventriloquist says, right? So he's telling you Elijah said this stuff. Elijah said none of this stuff they saying. So they put his words in Elijah's mouth. So therefore when he speaks, they're saying he got it from Elijah. Is that too complicated for you? Now they would take to the next generation if they could. And they want to do it. They can figure out how to do it. Because what happens is that they can do AI and have Elijah actually saying this stuff. And then the case closed. The problem is that you got too many people out there that got Elijah's books and stuff like that, somebody like myself. So they got to wait till that die off or whatever they can do to get to control those books. Because once they do that, somebody should come and actually show the book with any credibility. They say, then have people know that this is all fake. Photoshop, whatever you want to call it. AI stuff. And then the game is over. Okay? That's what they want to do. That's the games they're playing. Because Elijah ain't seen none of that stuff they're saying. We got tapes of him saying it. More brothers sisters. They put Farrakhan's words in Elijah's mouth. Using Elijah as a dummy. That's why I keep saying, putting together Elijah and Farrakhan, Elijah, Farrakhan. Okay? Let's move on, brothers sisters. And see here, again, see this is derivative Islam. That's why it's second plane. There's no mathematics in Sunnism. That shows you right there. But you wouldn't know that unless you three-dimensional person understand the angel language, the angel message. If you're not three-dimensional, you're not going to understand the angel message. You might hear it, or you can hear it. If you're three-dimensional, you hear it. You understand it, you hear it, right? But would you do anything about it? Will you step up in the third dimension and say, I'm going to stick here in the second dimension. I'd rather stay down here. You hear, if stick two-dimensional, people can't hear it. They don't have any three-dimensional physiology. Hearing anything, they don't even know it's a three-dimension. They don't even know. Literally, I'm saying this actually, the devils don't have any idea about any of this stuff. All they know is they lose control of their dimension. They want to keep control of it. And all of a sudden, right, they start rising, and once they get some traction, realize what's going on, then the move to the third dimension will be fast. And that's what Suleiman is. He's taking the Nation of Islam and putting it in the third dimension. He's getting the math, the substance. If Islam is mathematics, and it is, Islam is mathematics, mathematics Islam, then this is not mathematics here. This is not Islam. That's why the jinn are not Muslim. See how that stuff comes together? They're not Muslim. The jinn are not Muslim. They said they're going to keep doing the same way. It says right there. I mean, they're going to keep doing like they was doing before. But they ain't going to submit to Allah. He told them to submit. No. See? They'll keep doing what they was doing before. You get it? They told them, we'll submit to Adam. No, we ain't going to do that. So they've been at war with Adam the whole time. In the second dimension down here, Adam been kicking their ass. See? Because Adam don't have any three-dimensional, so that means that all this energy is in the two-dimension. That means he's more powerful than us. As soon as you use some energy, you start, your three dimensions start stirring, right? And so now you got to suppress it. That takes energy to suppress it. I don't know how to get this to you, brothers and sisters. If you want to stay in two dimensions, it costs you. It takes a lot of energy. You stay in a two dimension because you hear this stuff. You just get, Remember, it says he will lift you, but he didn't say you was stuck on the earth. He said you was clinging to it. It takes energy to cling to something. So you stand in, and you're going to still be a loser down here because now you got to spend a lot of your energy just trying to stay there. The devil don't have to do anything to stay there. That's their nature. So they always whoop your ass. But now you got to suppress, and the more energy you get, the harder it's going to keep you because you got your body's telling you, your body's trying to go in three-dimensional, and you're doing everything you can to keep it two-dimensional. That means it's harder and harder and harder. There's more and more work. You see? That's why you want to get what they said, everlasting shame and appallment. It takes energy to stay there, because now you got energy in your body, and you got to. That's why you're clinging to the earth. You ain't just stuck on the earth. You're clinging. That means take energy to cling to something. All this stuff comes together, bro. It comes together like music. All those come together, right? And if these here, they're successful, of course, let it happen. I let it happen. Once it started happening, it's like, like I said, my father passed when I was 14, my mother passed when I was 9. I ain't had any idea about anything. I ain't know about puberty, none of that stuff. I ain't body change, I ain't know about anything. My sister and I was the dumbest two people on the planet. We had nobody, no relatives, anybody. And she was a year younger than me. And puberty came in. I was scared hell. I didn't know what's going on. I was ready to run to the hospital. I didn't know what was happening. I had no idea what that was. See? Because your body started growing in that direction. It scared me at first. If somebody took advantage of me and said, man, you take this pill to stop this, I probably would have took it. Because I said, I don't know what that is, man. Give me a pill to stop it. Ain't that what they do with these transgender people? They start going, they don't understand it. Oh, I'm confused. Next thing you know, they cut them up to stop it. You don't get it, what's going on, brothers and sisters? We move on, brothers and sisters. I tell you, once you ever get to the edge of level, right? Once you ever get there, something's not right here. I don't know why it's showing like that. Do I have the right thing here? Hold on, brothers. I got no one's happening. No one's going on like that. Why is it going like that? I was wondering about that. Okay, I had the wrong one, that's why it's doing like that. Yeah. Had the wrong one. There you go. Oh. There you go. Okay, that's better. And this short, this is the universe expands and contracts. Right now it's at a maximum expansion. That means the energy that you can't create energy, you can't destroy it. So all the energy that used to be here is out there now. The Quran tells you. The Earth was one. That means all the energy out there used to be here. And once it goes out there, we have less energy. So we got to the point where we had inefficient, we didn't have enough energy to maintain ourselves. And that's energy deprivation. And that would be a 12,000 year period, 6,000 years to the worst, and then 6,000 years back up. That's why I needed a derivative of God to handle it. If you understand it, you understand. If you don't, you don't. Right? So 6,000 years down, at the end of back to 800, was at the worst. That means we're at the bottom of this. The bottom of the barrel was at a worse condition. And now we rise up out of it. But we won't completely out of it until 6,000 years from now. That's why we need the derivative of God to rule during that period of time. And it's like Muhammad said, that they don't talk about, he says, eventually the God who will be turned back to, because he said he's a made God, the God who will return back to the tribe of Shabazz. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me speak to this. I'm going to get to main in a minute. See, they come at, what I try to do is I try to give you all the information possible, brothers and sisters. I try to come to you every way they come at you. They come at you so many ways I haven't even told you about yet. I'm trying to tell you the most obvious ways. Because what they did is they took your mind from you and gave you a two-dimensional mind. That's part of the reason why you're clinging, because that's the mind you're familiar with. Right? And so if you start right, all of a sudden you get confused. Because you don't have the mind, you have a three-dimensional mind, right? But you're trying to move in three, right? So it doesn't work. That's why you get Suleiman's here to give you a three-dimensional mind back. But see, this is where we were before we came here. But they don't tell you that. They tell you it was like this before you came here. It was running around Africa, Tarzan and stuff, right? Ooh, running, right? Being on drums, cannibals with bone on nose. That's what they told us. And that's a lie. You may have some tribes out in there. It's like you got people up in Appalachia, rednecks. You would say they represent America. So you had some tribes that was living out in the suburbs. Tribes that living out in the suburbs. You had major cities too. Like Cairo was a major city. Timbuktu was a major university. I think that was in Algeria or something. Algeria, is that the name of it? Tunisia? Anyway, it was in northern, what they call Africa now, actually Arabia. And that it's one place, one continent. There's no water between the two. But they tell you, oh, well, it's separated. They say, well, Africa is, and it's all Africa. But it's actually not even named Africa. That's a Roman name because they had a general named Africanus. So they gave America this name. Those are not names we gave ourselves. But if you want to go with that name, Africa is not the actual name. That's name, the general name Africanus. That's where the name Africa came from, right? But anyway, that's what we were. And Timbuktu was a major university a worldwide universe. People come from China, every place, to come and study there. Because we knew the world was round. The two-dimensional people didn't know. That's why if you look two-dimensional, right, you think everything is flat. You see how it's coming together? Because they think flat, and so the whole world was flat, and so they didn't see the world was round. They thought the world was flat. That's two-dimensional. Because they think two-dimensional. They said that's why the lesson tell you, well, why do they tell you that Columbus is half original man? See, all these little hints in there. Because he had three-dimensional qualities. He didn't want to tell them the world was round. They ain't saying, why did they tell you he was half original? See, why would they tell you that? Why would you care? That was matter. I'm telling you these things so all stuff comes together. Because he had three-dimensional qualities, so he figured out the world was round. Maybe he didn't figure it out, he just knew. The Chinese probably knew. Wait a minute, hold it. Nobody knew the world was round, right? How did the natives get over here? They came over here from over Africa. How did they come over here? They didn't think the world was flat. How did they get over here? Nobody ever asked these questions. How did they get over here? They had to knew the world was round. They didn't know it was an accountant over here. They didn't just jump up and wake up one morning and it was over here. They knew. And they came over here and found out black folks over here, they look just like Africans. In fact, my great-grandmother, my father told me, she was a native and she was black as the rest of them. And in fact, they always show you the light-skinned ones. There are a lot of those tribes, they were black. You can just Google it. Blacker than you, blacker than me. They just didn't know. Two-dimensional people, we made them two-dimensional. So they'd be taught these things. So in other words, they taught you like this, but you was like this. Why did they tell you this? Because when they did this, you be thankful. Because man, look, they raised you up from, look, who's like this, and you be grateful. Because who wants to be like this? You be grateful to them. You kiss Master, thank you, Master. Because Master say, man, y'all was cannibals over there. Y'all was lions eating y'all ass. Y'all was eating each other, right? You was around naked, starving, right? Being chased by lions and stuff. I've had white folks tell me that. Well, I should be grateful because they rescued us. Because if you believe it was like this, you say, yeah, thank you, Master. Can I kiss your ass, Master? Boy, who? Thank you, Jesus. You saved us from this. See? So now you got a grateful people, even though how bad the condition is, even if you was in the fields, it was better than being this, wasn't it? Even if you was working enslaved in the fields, it was better than this, wasn't you? Running around, naked, hot, diseased, ignorant, eaten by lions and stuff. See? So therefore, you didn't rebel because, hey, I'm better off now. I was there. I don't want to go back to this. Master told you, hey, boy, nigga, you keep on, I'm going to send you back there. Hey, man, please, Master, I'll work harder. Yeah. See the psychology of it? If they convince you this, yeah. They whoop your ass and everything else. They whoop your ass and everything. You say, hey, man, and they tell you this is what you go back to. Okay, Master, I'll do anything that's better than going back to that. Okay. But if you knew this what you was, Master would have his throat cut. Because you would never settle for this if you knew it's the way you was. Then you know what Master did to you. You wouldn't be grateful at all. You'd be telling Master, you better give me back what you took from me. Look what you took from me. You see psychology of it? And most of our people believe this story. Because they told that story to me when I was going to school. I wasn't hiding on my desk. They told me Greek history, or the great Greek, Alexander, the great history, the great Romans, powerful Romans, the great Mongols and everything else. And then they got around to this boy, and you want to hide on your desk. Got bone in your nose, run around, big old plates in your lips and all that kind of stuff, eating each other. Couldn't scared to go to sleep because you might get eaten. I went and hide under my desk until I found out that this is what we really were. Right? And most of our people believe this story. That's why they're so friendly with whites and everything, because they figured whites did them a favor. They helped them out. They saved them from this. And y'all don't understand this stuff. You don't understand it. So who is Farrakhan D? I'll pick a couple of things, then I'm going to get to my main topic, brothers and sisters. I hope I got this right. Okay, again, right? This is what's going on, brothers and sisters. They saying that's what all they did was Sunday. Elijah said this. Elijah said none of this stuff. Elijah said we'd be fools to stay here. Farrakhan said we ain't going nowhere. But now Elijah's saying that. He said Elijah said don't call devils anymore. Elijah never said anything like that. Well, he did say it one night. He said stop calling white people devils. Because being white don't make you a devil. Master Muhammad was white. That was a trick that Wallace was using, and Malcolm was using, and Farrakhan used it too. So they say, hey man, he said white people are devils. Look at Master Muhammad, he's white, he must be, and they could pull us off because they know the demons gonna go along with it. But they confident these Levites will buy this shit. And they, so far they haven't been proven wrong. They're saying Levites buy anything. So far they haven't proven wrong. Because that's what he tells the Levites. It said the elect could not be deceived by this bullshit. But Levites are fool. Come on, brothers and sisters.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups, bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
You gonna tell me that's Elijah Muhammad's teachings? The first one tells you right away. That document, FBI document, that's actually on their website. You can't say I made it up. They gave FBI everything they wanted. The FBI said there was only two tracks there. Either we find somebody, a regime change that we control, that's gonna run the NOI, or we're gonna destroy it. It's still there, right? Okay. So that means they found this, that's their plan. They said it had to be done. And they did it. He's one of them. Plus, you saw it, if that's the display that Ishmael just gave, is that like Muhammad's teachings? Devils? Even the Quran says don't take devils and Christian friends. Even the Quran tell you don't do that. But he's our brother. Tell me how that fits into the lessons. Tell me how it fits into the lesson. So I'm saying, these people that's with that, I'm forget about the agents and demons, the other ones, boy, woo, what's going to happen to them? These preachers gonna have better than them, because they're gonna make popsicles out of these preachers. Oh, that's what's gonna happen. Once during this wartime, while the war is going on, this war will be finished. This war will, right, culminate at the end of the year, around the end of the year. So while this war is going on, all these things will be happening. And when people will come together, because once the vision is established, as far as it was taken out and the vision established, people start rallying around it, come together to see the great army. Army, not a single great personality club, whatever. What do they call those clubs? People just, what do you call it? I forget, when you just, people just come together. I forget. Anyway, no. See the great army. That means war's on. Why did it come together, army? You understand? See the great army for war. But Levites don't get it, but that's what it's saying. Come together, see the great army. And when they do, right, those people are going to be in serious trouble. Because all that anger is going to be directed at them too. Because all this anger built up, and now it's time to release it. And they part of the process of restraining it. It says, at this rock, it says, anybody that falls against this stone be broken. Anybody that's crushed. So they falling against because they resisted. They be broken. Some of them crushed. Social club, that's what I was trying to say. Now it said, come together as a great social club. See the great army, you pay attention to these things? Ready for war. See the great army. Not a ragtag army. Can't get itself together, scratching their ass. Oh, I gotta take a break. I don't know. I can't know how to use my weapon. I wonder them. I wonder how you spell angel. See the great army. Those that come together. It said there's no blemish. How do you say it? The way they talk about him in the angel. Come 144,000. I don't see it now. But that's what those ones come together. That's where they come together. They not come together for some bullshit. You gotta tell them what to do. See the great army. That's humming. And what they're gonna do, these folks? Because it said, wrath be upon the devils. We'll talk about that in a minute. And they're gonna get hit with it too. That's right. Who's able to stand? Okay? Either you fire or you fuel for fire. So you see, so it tell you clearly. Plus the fact that FARRAKHAN's dad is a devil, you miss it. So you ask yourself, well, how are they still there? Are they ignorant? They stupid, or what? Well, we have to give them some slack because it says there's some over there, and they said it's better. Dirty water is better than no water. So rather than be outside, they stay there around FARRAKHAN, but they ain't with FARRAKHAN. There's a whole. They says the ones that wake up, they're not with FARRAKHAN. Right? That's why I said Moses said, the ones with the Lord, come with me. They were just there. So we got, that's why you just can't. And if you read Jonah, right? Remember the whole nation was going to be destroyed. And told Jonah, go preach to him. and said those that repented of Farrakhan, those are the ones that, you understand? We understand, brothers and sisters. And he loving devils and everything else. Look at this. Okay, move on, brothers and sisters.
Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah." Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica. His father, Gates writes, was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. "If in my lineage there are Jews, I would hope that in the end, before my life is over, I not only will have rendered a service to my own beloved community of black people but will also have rendered a service to the Jewish community," Farrakhan was quoted as saying. In the interview with Gates, which reportedly lasted 9 hours, the Nation of Islam leader also made reference to wise Jews who plan evil, the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and overwhelming Jewish complicity in the slave trade. Jewish groups expressed outrage over Farrakhan's latest public statements. Farrakhan's effort to make it appear that he is merely criticizing the evil he finds in his own Jewish antecedents is a reflection of the bizarre and ludicrous nature of his entire behavior towards Jews, Phil Baum, executive director of the American Jewish Congress, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a planned protest against the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith fizzled last week when Washington, D.C., police denied former Nation of Islam spokesman Khalid Abdul Muhammad entrance to the B'nai B'rith office. Flanked by 4 bodyguards in black fatigues, Muhammad took a moment to rail against the ADL and the Jewish community before he departed the scene. "This is a criminal organization and a criminal enterprise that has lied and spied on black leaders and black organizations," said Muhammad, who was dismissed as Farrakhan's spokesman in 1994 in the wake of a national controversy surrounding a vehemently anti-Semitic speech he delivered at Keene College in New Jersey. Muhammad called the ADL and its parent organization, B'nai B'rith, one of the main arteries of improper propaganda and nefarious activity that has greatly influenced the larger American Jewish community. In brief remarks to reporters, Muhammad said the black man and black woman are the chosen people of God and we want to put an end to this lie of the so-called Jews, these people who crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe just a few years ago claiming our birthright. Standing astride Muhammad was Malik Zulu Shabazz, the leader of the Washington, D.C.-based Unity Nation who gained notoriety for leading anti-Semitic chants at Howard University student rallies in 1994. Shabazz said the ADL is an oppressive organization that comes from a people that are by nature evil and wicked.
That's Farrakhan right there, meeting his father, his grandfather, on his father's side, meeting his grandfather on his father's side, devils, white Portuguese Jews. That makes him one. So he's not the seed of Abraham. So the covenant doesn't apply to him. That's why he's a son of perdition, and he despises the covenant because it doesn't apply to him. In fact, he's the son of the devils that's going to be destroyed. When they destroy these two-dimensional, then he's going down with them. The demons are going down with them. We're going to show that in a while. So he knows that our rise, his destruction. He hates you. He's been living off you for 42 years. He hasn't produced a goddamn thing He got sisters out there pimping him, doing fundraisers for him. That's his father. He like a light-skinned Jamaican to you? He's white. First of all, Clark. He's a devil, period. If you read this, that's the Ocean, right? Now, he's talking about, well, since he's exposing synagogue of Satan, everybody's falling away. This says clearly, do not be deceived. It says it clearly. The falling away will come first. They knew it. They saw him coming. He says it's the opposite. That means he's deceiving you. He says, be not deceived. The falling away will come first. Then the man's sin be exposed. He says it's the opposite. Go check him out. Look at his last, this is Savior's Day 2023. He says right there, he says, no, since I'm exposing them now to falling away. He said, no, sir, be not deceived. That's the other way around. Because he's a demon, a lying dog. Let's look at this bill. It says, now we're going to get into my main subject now. Timeline. Okay? Let me back up here for a minute, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. The apocalypse. So the timeline here, brothers and sisters. This is the main, because I kind of messed up yesterday. I'm still not sure exactly what, I tried to figure out what happened. I don't want to say somebody got in there, but it was strange. So I'm double checking to make sure it don't happen again today.
Why must there be a war of Armageddon? Because Satan has to be exposed. Satan is no spook. Satan is no spirit. Satan are men and women, highly intelligent, knowing.
This is Savior's Day, the last one he had, right? He appeared. Right? As he appeared. He's talking about the war of Armageddon. He said it started back then. You seen the Armageddon? FARRAKHAN, the Noah, the prophet. You seen the Armageddon? He just started 2 years ago. He said it's going to spread all over Europe and everything else. I didn't get the whole translation, but maybe I said I was going to do it. I said, why? Because I mean, I'm trying to convince some people that can't be convinced. I'm not trying to convince anybody. All you got to do is watch his 37th day speech, the last one he appeared. His whole thing was about Armageddon. That was the whole thing. It was about Armageddon. He said it's going to start in Germany, it's going to spread all over the place. You see anything like that? You don't know how they talk about it. Okay, so what we're going to do, brothers and sisters. Now I'm going to give you a timeline. See, Daniel is a very special book. It's sealed also. So Suleiman will break the seals of Daniel with no one is done. And the seals of the angel. Angel's really, Daniel's really is connected by the hip to the seal because you only have 12 chapters in Daniel. 12. Right? But the 13th chapter of Daniel is the 13th chapter in the angel. Because the 13th chapter in the angel mentioned all the same beasts in Daniel. That's the only place it mentioned it. The bear, the leopard. So that shows you that's the 13th chapter of Daniel. Right? So the 13th chapter of Daniel is the 13th chapter of the angel. That's no story. That's a little more complicated, so it's pointed out. So they give you this here. This is, remember, we're at the war now. So the reason I'm telling you this now because before I couldn't tell you all this because it says the war hadn't started yet. It says that why if the man knew the hour's house would be broken into, he would prevent it. But the war started now. So I can tell you certain things I never told you before. Right? See? They run out of time. There's nothing they can do at this point. So, it says, this is Daniel, right? This chapter 12. When he held up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, it's for him that live forever and ever, for a time, times and a half, when shall accomplish the carrying of the power of the holy people, all these things shall be accomplished. The holy people are some Arabs. He says that's going to be part of this Arab, and you see what's going on right now. They pretty much devastate the Arabs over there. And as House of Saud is going to be the last one to go down, because Master Muhammad will take them down. Says the scattering of holy people. So he says what they take them down one by one. Syria, right? Syria's going to revive. Libya, Jordan, right? Did I say Libya? Anyway, they take them one by one. See, that's the Arabs. That was their plan. Iraq. But it says, so what is this time here? How do you make out what that means? And see, nobody has ever figured it out. They got all kinds of ideas. It was 3.5 years and all that kind of stuff. And that show you, I'm the breaker of 7 seals because I figured all this stuff out. I figured all out. It says only one person be able to do it. So I'm going to show you. Remember, time, times, and half. What does that mean? Okay. When you go in here, okay, you read the whole thing, right? Then down you look and behold, there stood other two, one side of the bank of the river, other side of the bank of the river, and one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long should be in these wonders? Heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand, left hand to heaven, and swore. Remember, he swore. He swore. By him that lived forever and ever, it should be for a time, times, and a half, when it shall accomplish scattering of the power. So that's part of this process. But I mean, what does that mean? Remember, it's a puzzle. That means it can be figured. It's a way to figure this out. Because I figured out all of Daniel. And the reason I didn't, and we'll see, because we'll see in a minute. Okay, time. What is time? It's time times half a time. So where's the time then? Okay, when you go in there, there's only 3 times time to mention. Time, times, and half. Don't say half a time. Say time. Some bad translations say time for time. Time and times. Okay, so let's see if we can figure what time is. Because you're looking at this, time is mentioned 3 times in chapter 12. Why is that? Okay, here's the first one. It said unto me, until 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be clean. That means it's going to be polluted for this whole period of time. For 2,300 days. So what is that? Okay, so here it is. So if you divide that by 30, that's the key. You can divide all by 30s to find how many years it is. That comes out to 76.6 years. But the sanctuary, it was polluted. When did it get polluted? In 1948, when false Israel moved in. They had the pollution, they had the abomination, stand in a place where they should not be. So 76 years after, 0.6 years after that, be 20, 24, probably 24, 20, remember this approximation, 24, 20. That means that was back in December. So they would still be there. Because somebody said, well, you said it's going to be ended. I said, well, I didn't, I put these numbers, I didn't change these numbers. If you look at that number right there, that couldn't have been, but I told everybody, if you figure it out, keep to yourself. I told everybody, I don't know exact time, I'm just telling you basically, right? If you press that number, you say, no, it couldn't have happened last year because they would still be in the end of December. And I was telling you, when this happens, it would happen sometime between October and November. So this couldn't have been this. So if you didn't study, that's your problem. Anyway, you had 76 years to 1948 when they were established. That means they'd still be in control here. And that's why I didn't solve the other two, because the other two would let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to solve the other two now. That's the time. See? I heard one speaking, another said, Saint said unto a certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and transgression of desolation to give the sanctuary and try? Means people they be trodden them down for this period of time. That means false Israel have been trodden down the Palestinians for that whole period of time. See? And it was a transgression of desolation. They did transgression. Remember transgression, like so no trespassers. That means there was somebody who was trespassing in the Middle East. They don't belong there. In fact, they're not even Jews. The Bible tell you, those say that Jews ain't. They not see Jesus told you that himself. He told them, he said, you ain't see Abraham, your fathers are devils. But they don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, right? So that's what happened in 1994. And you put that, then they'd still be in control back in December of last year. Now look at the times. This is the one I didn't decipher. Because if I did this one, it would have gave it away. Now I'm going to do it today. Now, look at this. 1980, right? Israel's Knesset passed the basic law of Jerusalem, capital of Israel, which effectively annexed East Jerusalem. This law declares unified Jerusalem as a capital of Israel. They took control of it, right? See, they took control of it. Keep that in mind. 1980. So look what they say here. Okay. Times. There should be, okay, I'm just giving you 2 days. In other words, what I'm showing here is, see, these 2 times are together. That's what they times. This is the time they're talking about. I'll show you what the time was. Because these 2 times are connected together. That's why you got to put these together to figure out how much time they're talking about. Because they said, there shall be 8,000, right? And then I'll show you the next one. These 2, how they connected. Okay. And from the time that daily sacrifice should be taken away, when was it taken away? When they took Jerusalem away from the Palestinians. They took it away in 1980. And the abomination desolation set up. Right? Abomination set up. Remember abomination desolation, that's what's going on right now. So when that starts, from the time that they took control of Jerusalem until the abomination desolation set up, there should be 1,290 days, right? But blessed he that, remember this, they connect these 2 together. Blessed he that cometh to the 1,335 days. So these 2 times are together. That's what it means, times. So we put these together, right? Okay, so it's 1290 divided by 30, that gives you 43 years. 43 years. You put this one, right? It says, bless those come, and this is 40, so that's 44.5. So that means it's a year and a half later. A year and a half later, bless those come to a year and a half later. Because 445 minus 43 is 1.5 years. Right? Okay. So when is that? Let's go here. 1980 plus 43 is 2023. When did abomination and desolation start? 2023. There it is. So we gave it away. And then it says, blessed he that come to, right? That was a year and a half later. What's a year and a half later? Let's go down here, right? 2023, if you say the 10th, it's October, right? You get a year and a half to that, you get 24, actually, yes, you get 2025, approximately 3 months into 2025. That's where we are now. It said, bless those come this period. Why? Why bless this come this period? Because this approximation, but if you take it as exact, right? That's when they officially threaten this war right now. Because remember, Trump says, what was it? March. He says, you got 60 days to make a deal. Or we're going to attack you. That's when he had said it. Right? And they was planning on doing it anyway. That's what everybody said, realized that, because that's where they tricked them. They told them they had 6 days to make a deal, but they didn't want no deal. They were just trying to, there was substitute. Subterfuge. Subterfuge. Am I saying it right? Subterfuge. See what I'm saying? There it is. So that means the war will start in 2025. That's why I didn't do this part. Because I tell you the war will start in 2025, which is this year. See? So why should you bless it here? Because when that war starts, let me show you why. You gotta put these things together, brothers and sisters. Let me go to the next one here before I get there. Right here. Oh, let me go next. Make it larger. Uh-oh. Where did I go wrong? See here? When these things come to pass, then look up and lift your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. That's why it says blessed, because now time of your redemption. That's why it says blessed, because now it says look up. Look up. That's why it said, you got to put it together, brothers and sisters. It said bless those who come to that, because now once that war starts, I told you it's all about you. So now finally when that war starts, right, your enemy is about to get their ass whooped. Because that's what that war means. The enemy is getting ready to get their ass whooped. How's Assad's going to go down? Falls Israel going down? America's going down? That's why it says, blessed those come to when the war starts. Let's back up, brothers and sisters. You say, man, well, if you're right, man, you can't expect everybody to be a genius. I don't see myself as a genius. I know I like to solve puzzles. That's part of my nature. I may be a brain cell. But it doesn't matter. I still have to apply energy to get it. You may be born a man, but you ain't going to be born a Hulk. You ain't born sworn Arnold. You got to go to the damn gym. Or you sit there, you got the muscle, but you don't do nothing with it. And I ain't the only one, right? If I am a brain cell, I ain't the only one. There's a lot of them more, but none of them could do it. None of them. Not even Master Farrakhan Muhammad, because he's a derivative God. Right? You see what I'm saying here? So there it is. There it is. There do the math. And so nobody could figure it out, because see, that shows you. Nobody had any idea how to figure that puzzle out. No idea whatsoever. Why? Yeah, okay. They talk all this stuff. Yeah, they ain't figuring out, because nobody knew what that meant. They said, well, that's 3.5 years and everything else, right? Okay. Times, right? Nobody made a connection to times. Is because they got two connected together. That's what it means at times. One is by itself and the other two connected. But they're all talking about the same thing, talking about, right? And then you got to go and figure out how to divide by 30, and then, right? Then you got to connect, got to know about 1948. That's a fake. I didn't figure this out overnight. Some of the stuff gave me a severe headache. A lot of gray hairs. Maybe all of them because of this. And then here you go right now. Now it says, because that's why I said last year, but if you follow that thing, you know it couldn't be last year. But you know it is this year. You're absolutely sure it is this year, because war started. So it says, make your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. You know, Sabbath day is because September the 7th month. So it won't be there unless the only thing if that maximum number shorten the days, like he said he might, if it don't, it's going to be right in here between October and November when you have to flee. But there shall be great tribulation, not since the beginning, nor ever shall be. But woe to the women who are pregnant, we'll talk about that in a minute, and those who are nursing babies. It said pray it would not happen in the winter. So it'll be happening sometime before December 21st, sometime between October 1st and December 21st, that's when you're going to be attacked. That's when that war will be, that's when the war will last until that time. So that's how long you know the war's going to last. But I tell people it's going to last. Why are we putting stuff? Because the point is that you're going to have, right now, the economy is shaking. That's why I tell you, the only thing you need to know right now is to put food away. At least 2 weeks if you can, of food that you don't need to cook or refrigerate. Because you're going to have economic problems between now and then, and that's when the economy is going to collapse totally by then, especially in Europe, right? But you may have explosion, all kinds of economic, I can't tell you because it doesn't tell you exactly, but you know, it's because you always, because that war is going to cause that. So that's why you need to do that right now, just to be sure. It's a win-win situation. You can't lose. Because if it doesn't happen to then, you still got the food. But you're still going to need it then, because then when you flee, right? Unless he shorten it, you won't have to flee until that period of time. That's how long. So where we are. So we got half a month of June, got all of July, August, September. That means we're going to go on at least 4 more months, 3 months, at least 3 more months. Because he's shortening it. That give you time to prepare if you got any sense. Now listen, I'll explain this. This is prophecy and Zach. It's not watch the weather, FARRAKHAN. You're not getting this anywhere. Nobody knows this, have any idea. This is Zach, and it shows the math. See? Because that's what I said, people setting darkness in a great light. That's what assuming we get a great light. It's supposed to spell all this stuff out for you. Make it so clear in the food in there. You ain't getting this anyway, not even close. You wouldn't even know about this right here from me. You wouldn't have any idea what's going on. Those you've been familiar with the angel at all, if you hadn't met me, you had no idea what's going on. You'd be told, and some of you still probably don't know. This is exact. Prophet FARRAKHAN. Exact. I'm putting it out there. So if it don't happen, then you got the evidence. I'm not telling you, well, I think no, I'm telling you that's exactly where it's going to happen. Only thing could happen, it won't be delayed. That's why some brother was saying, I said, don't say it's delayed, you just don't know, brother. It's not delayed, it's going to be exactly on time. And that, what I just showed you, said exactly on time. Exactly on time. But I said, I couldn't tell you until the war actually start. Right? Exactly on time. Where is it right here? Right? A year and a half after, this is exactly time. 2023, abomination starts. That's what it says. When it was set up, exactly right on time. 43 years from 1980. And then a year and a half later, the war would start. There you go. And so this is where, that's why I told you before. See, do you pay attention? I said they tell you to flee when you see it. You have to know to flee. You have to know the information. You have to be ready for it. It's going to be all of a sudden. But at least you have to know, somebody tell you to flee, you got to know about what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Flee, go out there, hey, flee, what you talking about? So somebody has to be telling this information, right? So when you say flee, you know what you're talking about. Because without this, you wouldn't know. You have no idea. But now you'd be ready. Because if you didn't know this, you wouldn't be ready. And so because you see something happen, you wouldn't know what to do. It's telling you exactly what you need to do. When you see this situation, flee. But how can you flee if you don't know what the situation is? Somebody got to tell you, and they got to be sure, because you got to be sure, because is that the situation or not? You got to be confident that's the situation. That's why the people that's supposed to be standing with the injury, they probably get this information out to people so they be familiar with it, so when time comes to flee, they know what the hell you're talking about. But if you're sitting around scratching your ass and playing games, then you ain't doing anything. You're just wasting time, and you're wasting my time because you're slowing me down and getting this information to people. They have to have this information to be able to flee, say their lies. They can't get it the last minute, have to know it in advance. And they can't be watching the weather stuff. Hey man, when you see a hurricane coming, or a hurricane, any hurricane, this is precise. So now it's on their brain. And so then when you say flee, when they see the situation, they know it's time. They don't know exactly, see the parties, they don't know exactly when it's going to happen. So therefore, otherwise you tell them, don't worry about it, just when you flee on this particular day. They don't know, it's going to be close. So they got that information, right? So they know. They look around, man. Something will happen very soon. So like I told you, I was told people all in the last few weeks, I said the war's going to happen any day now. So they knew it wasn't a shock when it happened, because I told them it's going to happen any day now. So you have to tell them, right? This is what they're going to attack you, and they're going to attack you during this period of time. Right? You know exactly when. So when they see that abomination over there, oh, that's what he said. Boom, because information is specific. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. See? And that's what the people, their leaders, Levi leaders, supposed to be doing, getting this information. That's the people lost for lack of knowledge because they don't have this. So when you say flee, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Flee for what? Flee where? Why should I be fleeing? Because if you got to ask that question, it's too late already. Remember, you got to flee before they get to you. You can't flee after they got to you. At that time, right, it says, men's hearts failing them with fear of looking upon those things which coming upon earth, powers heavenly shaken. See? And so, these people are going to be in panic, strokes and everything else. Because falsehoods is going down, and they realize you're getting out of control. And if they got that much fear, what you do with fear? You try to eliminate the fear, and you're going to be the reason for the fear. Because they see it's coming here. What's coming here? Something they see over there, know it's going to affect here. And they know that vision over there, because we know where it is, because when you get that false vision destroyed over there, and you get your vision, I told you it's a route that right away, if you understand this, right? But if you don't understand what's going on, that's a vision you understand. It don't matter to you. But if you understand, false Israel, because most people don't even know about Abraham or coming to anything else. And if you ain't out there giving it to them, how they going to know? And I'm 24/7, make sure they do get it. Right? So therefore, they see, hey, why do they have fear? Something coming here. What? Your rise. And whatever you fear, you want to get rid of. Whatever you fear, you want to get rid of. That's where they're attacking you. That's why it says, and when you look up, because that's your redemption. That's what they fear, your redemption. It's telling you right here. When these things begin to pass, then look up, lift your head. Your redemption draws, because that's what they fear, your redemption. Your unity, exceedingly great army. What do you need to see the great army for? Because you're going to kick ass. Either kick ass or you're going to stop them kicking your ass. That's almost because right now they're kicking their ass. But you come in the army, they can't do it when they lose control of you. If you lose control, fear, of course, fear is what happens when you lose control of something. See? So if they lose control of you, your redemption's coming. See? Then see Son of Man come with power and great glory, your unity. Yeah, I just mentioned this, right? Your redemption draws nigh. Right? There it is. I'm not sure I'm going to do this part, but let me just take a look, see what time it is here. Okay, I may go to this pretty quickly. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then recognize her desolation is near. This is a simple statement right here, but they don't get this one. Who controls Jerusalem? It's told you, it's their capital. So it says Jerusalem's destruction is near when you say it happens. That means for Israel, they're the ones going to be destroyed. But it's obvious what they're saying here. But there's no Jesus will come and save the last minute. That's not what this says. And it says, that time, those who are in Judah flee to the mountains. And those who, it tells you, flee. If your baby's in the house, you're outside, you got to flee. You can't go. That's how it's fast going to be. They're full of fear. They're afraid. It's going to be immediate. And they'll come after you immediately. And viciously. That means you ain't got time to even go in your house. They get you a baby, you said run. That's how bad it's going to, how fast it's going to be. See? And so the more knowledge you have, right, the more you can be prepared, because then you say, hey man, I know it's the time that this is about to happen. I'm going to keep my baby with me all the time. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to keep this with me all the time. I'm going to keep gas in my car all the time. But if you don't know that, and then you find the last minute, oh man, they coming after us, man. I ain't got no food, I ain't got no gas in my car. And, you going to get out and start running? And it says, and woe to those who are women are pregnant, those who are babies, because be great wrath upon them. What does that mean? We're going to talk about that in a minute. This was a prayer your flight to not be in the Sabbath or in the winter. They're coming after you. They're going to attack you. Again, he's talking about the same thing again. Okay, let me see how far I'm going to go with this, brothers and sisters. And see, this is May. War is imminent. See, now this is a copy from something I put out a few days ago, so I left it in there because I put this before. I was saying, right? This was in May. Right? So you go out of my presentation back in May, and it's in there. I said, war is imminent with Iran. I just left it there. Go look at what I said in May. Look at my presentation in May. It's June now, ain't it? FARRAKHAN, he still ain't said nothing about it. Well, that's right, he's incapacitated, right? And all of a sudden, they didn't mention it at all. All this going on in the world. Oh, we're talking about Father's Day. Because they don't know, they have no idea. And they can't get it from the devils, because devils don't either. And devils, their handler. And this is where we are. So now they're at war. Previous, hold on. See here, right here? They're moving up. They're challenging America. This is where they are right. This is where they were in May. This is where they are right now. Fighting. And America's involved, but they're going to be direct attacks in a minute. They're going to be bombing American and the UK force. They're going to be directly in this war in a few minutes. Right? It's happening right now. I said what happened. And Egypt is going to support them. See? Egypt's going is going to, well, I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that, right? And then they're going to kick them out of the region. They're going to kick them out. Kick them out. False Israel going to be under siege. American British, right? Their power be broken in the Middle East, right? They still had base and stuff there. They haven't gone all the way out, But their power is broken. That's what I said. The powers of heavens were shaken. Right? Then what? And then they actually kicked out. When false Israel left abandoned, and that's when they know false Israel is about to go down, that's why they're going to attack you. Because they can't stay there. They're going to be forced out of there, totally, out of the Middle East, totally. All their base and stuff, they're going to be on fire. They're going to run out of there. Worse than it was in Afghanistan, worse than it was in Vietnam. They're going to run out of their ass on fire. And that means they know they can't save false Israel, they can't protect it anymore. That's they're going to attack you, attack all blacks. That's when you flee, attack all blacks. But Suleiman will have taken control of NOI by that time. But he's not going to go. They don't come to him. He ain't going to go and take her. They don't come to him. That's going to happen any day now. They don't come to me. They're going to cast FARRAKHAN out. It comes in. Thrones are cast down. They don't, right? See, look in Mark. They ran to Son of Man. See, give me my mind back. But it happened any day now, brothers and sisters, during this time of war. Read in Exodus, it says it was a time of war, but it wasn't a sign of defeat or victory. That means while this war is going on, that stuff they talk about, the separation of the wiping out of Aaron and his followers and separation of Aaron and his followers, all that stuff is taking place while this war is going on. There's a lot of stuff going on with this war. That's why I tell people, if you're paying attention to this and you want to try to represent this, you need to focus. There's a lot of stuff going to happen in the next, between now and December. A lot of stuff happening. All the main stuff, this is the main event. A lot of stuff happened between now and November and December. A lot of stuff, right? I mean, it says the king of north, come out, king of south is going to become like a whirlwind. And they tell you it's going to be a lot worse than it is right now. They're going to devastate. False Israel, no, they're going to devastate. They said come out as a whirlwind. They're going to take over the whole Middle East. Iran's going to take over the whole Middle East, and Syria's going to be with them. They're going to take over the whole Middle East. Take down a house of Salah. They're going to take control of the whole thing. They're going to cause economic collapse across the world, especially in Europe. That's going to trigger Armageddon. All this is happening while this war is going on. Trigger Armageddon. They're kicked out of there, right? FARRAKHAN being cast down. Accused of our brethren. Suleiman takes control of NOI. Right? The four winds blow. Come together, a scenic ground. All this happening next for this is a time like unprecedented. It's gonna be like they said, like the scriptures say, man, it's gonna be dramatic, off the page. The people said there's marvelous in our eyes. They said like, how they say it? They said, can a nation be born in a day? That's how fast it's gonna happen. A nation born in a day. Look what's happening right now. I mean, look at stuff that's going to happen. It's going to get faster and faster and faster. They came hit false Israel. They came hit Iran. They had it now. Now they hiding in shelters over there now. And it's getting much worse. And then you got the plague going on. I told you the plague of flies would be about anti-Semitism, all that kind of stuff. Or ain't that on the rise? And it says division. Oh, look all the confusion going in the mirror. All of a sudden, you got people coast to coast riding over some bullshit. So what do you think will happen when the economy gets tight? What do you think will happen when the pressure really starts feeling it? If they're all over the country, over some ice stuff. Nobody got killed anything, just over the whole country. If they're on a small thing. This is going to be, I tell people, I said, here, this time, you sitting around scratching your ass? Man, you should be out there on the 5 man, you should be, woo. You should be ablaze. All the information, you got all this information, all this stuff is going to happen. That's going to happen within the next couple of months, between now and November. But now in December, And then falsehood actually goes down. That's when remember we get our vision, get our mind back. All through this period of time, black folks coming together, unite. All this stuff happened between now and December. Armageddon over there, American ass kicked Armageddon. The demon war starts. This Armageddon right here. They're going to economic collapse during this time. Look all the stuff that's happening. And so, I mean, you wake up tomorrow, man, you know, you might be on Mars. There's going to be so much stuff going on. Right? October economic collapse over in Europe. That means they're going to turn on America. America been Armageddon fight for its very life. It's going to lose. And then you're going to have China and India on the move. The ghosts start moving. And during this particular time, right, that's when Magog's going to be destroyed. All this stuff's going to happen between now and December. Right? That's a power broken in the Middle East. Magog defeated. God's power broken, cast out of the Middle East. And then the four winds blow. Maybe I should go in a little more detail about that, but I'm going to leave it alone for right now. That's fire. See, baptized with fire. Elected, not baptized with fire. Only Nation of Islam. Yeah, I don't know if you picked up on that one. Baptized with fire. Remember, that's what Moses did. He tried to burn. He put those two tablets. That's remember, because Moses represents the fourth wind. So it's the time that the come together and the resurrection. Remember, because remember when he shows up, it's the time of war. He says he saw the four winds blow. What? Because remember, two of the tablets, that's two of the winds. So when the four winds blow, it was a time of war. No victory or defeat. The four winds blow. Wow, that's going to happen. Right? Because the resurrection going to take place. Right? Because that's when they flee. The fleeing is the resurrection. All it's going to take place before December 23rd, for winter. And talking about those pregnant. Who's pregnant? You're talking about Gog and Magog. And that's why they say pregnant, because remember they attack us. So that's what it means. They got something under them. It says wrath upon them. For those. For these days of vengeance. We didn't want to got vengeance because they just now we're turning back to what they did to us. They don't have vengeance. We got the vengeance on them. For these days of vengeance. Right? During the time you flee, days of vengeance, and see the great army, right? That these things are written may be fulfilled, but woe to them that are with child and those that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon the people. It'd be great distress in America. And wrath upon them. That's the way they're talking about the pregnant women. Talking about America and Britain, they're the ones pregnant. They got something under them. That's what it means. That's the angel key. It said, be great distress in the land. Great distress in the land. And said, wrath. Wrath upon these devils. That's what it's talking about. All this between now and December. You got a lot to talk about. I've been talking about India for 35 years, but most of what we're talking about going to take place when that war starts. I've been telling you that. And now I tell you when it starts and when it's going to end. And I show all the things in between. And all that stuff going to happen, and you sitting around scratching your ass, looking up. Got all that information, all that stuff. One of our people. And that's when they come together, and that's when Moses separates the demons out. It's still a war still going on. It said, though with the Lord. So he sounded war, but not sound victory or defeat. So all the blacks come together because they, right? But what happened? And they, as far as Europe, he's gone. They go. That's when they gone. They defeat. That's another thing during that time. They totally defeat, totally destroyed, in a terrible way, in the most terrible way. As far as they're going to terrible city. When they finally end, because they're going to take them under siege, but they're not going to kill them right away. They're going to put them in siege, and they're going to stand back and prevent water from going in. They're going to do everything back to them that they were doing to Palestinians. Prevent water from coming in, food from coming in, and said the fathers eat their sons, sons eat their fathers. It'll be totally. And their nuclear arsenal is going to be neutralized, and it's going to be hard. The hard, I said, they're writing their own obituary, because what they're doing to Palestinians right now is happening tenfold. It's going to happen to them worse, much worse. The same thing they're doing to them. I said, what they're doing to them is going to happen to you. What you're doing to them will happen to you. There's no one going to help you. America, Britain will not be able to help you. They're going to abandon you. And they're going to sit around and let this happen, right? And they're going to have drones flying over so everybody can see, only they can see, while you turn to the total beast that you are. You need each other and everything else. Okay? During that time, and then demons are cast out. Right? Elect a home. And nobody's going to tribulation. Right? And that's the debate here. Because you got Levites here and Levites here. Right? And so if you don't make it here, it means you're going to be everlasting shame and department. When is this ever going to be? Because that's, and you know, because you got that, it was given these two books here. You got to rise up these two books. And rise two books. Right? That's what you got to be to qualify to be part of this angel here. You know, you stay here. This is the earth. What do you think the earth is? That's where hell and everything is. That's how it says, those be cast out of the kingdom. This is the kingdom here. How can you be cast out? There's nothing else. But you're going to cast them out of space? You're going to have the heavens and earth. That's all you're going to have here on the planet. Okay? And then, that's when, remember during this time, definitely India and China's on the move. They take out, make out in a way, they move over here, they become world powers because Armageddon is destroying European powers. They destroy themselves. And so now China and India emerge as the world powers, and they take vengeance, right? And they come to America. That's the goat. All you do is geometry on that, right? It says the goat travel from the west, if you're not touching land, it means you have to come across the ocean. That means there has to be countries that's on the west coast, on the east coast of the Pacific Ocean. I mean, on the west coast of the Pacific Ocean. They have to be on the west coast. That's India and China. Because if you don't touch land, and they come to a place that's who's on the east coast of the Pacific Ocean, that's America. And they come, and that says the ram had two horns. America and Britain, two God, and they tear them apart, destroy them. Right? But the thing is, they part and let the NOI through. They go through tribulation, and they part and let them through. That's no straw together. They let them through. That's they call the Red Sea. They part and let them through. And then they close in on America, destroy them. Right? But they knock out, let's look at this. Okay. See here? But they knock out the demons. The demons will have control of America when they come in. All during this time, that's the locust war. See, they still got a little original in them, and they want, they trying to follow FARRAKHAN's program. He's a cheap demon. We're going to take America. We're going to take America. So they could be more united than the devils would be. Devils would be totally disorganized. But they'd be united. They got a little us in them. They'd be united. They're going to fight. They're going to fight for 5 months. That's the locust war they're talking about in the angel. And in 5 months, they will have control of America. Elijah Muhammad said, last president be black, and I took that to be Obama. But I know they don't have control of it. It's going to be a pure victory because they don't have control. That's what it shows here. But when the goat comes in, remember, this is America. They think this is America. That's our country. They fought for it. And so they're going to try to fight to keep it. When the goat comes, the goat can wipe them out. That's what he said, the flood is wipe them out. That's the end of them. All this stuff, right? And then they finish the rest of the European countries, right? And then that's the rise of the bear, Africa. Now that, because Africa will be with them. You have three world powers. You have China, India, and Africa. Africa's be the last one, right? But it's going to put down, it's going to go to war. They're going to be united. But after they take out America and everything else, they're going to get in a fight, and Africa is going to defeat them, defeat China and India, right? But it's going to help them defeat America. I told you Obama's going to be leading it. Now, I know you don't say, yeah, well, okay, you believe it or not, that's the fact. He's going to take them out. Right? Now he's in. Now you guys, us, world power, us in the Middle East. Master Muhammad's the king, the God. This is his right of iron, elect, all over here, right? And they're going to attack, try to take the kingdom. Yeah, here on the earth still. Try to take the kingdom. That's the last battle, Esau, against his brother Jacob. That's the last battle, and they're defeated. That's it. After that is shame. I mean, after that is peace after that. And here's New Jerusalem. Here's the heavens, new earth. Where's this down here? New Jerusalem, new ark. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Well, what else is there? Okay, it's talking about the Levites. I'm not going to talk about that right now, brothers. I'm close. This is Moses. No more story about the Levites.